Hello everybody, it's the Basement Reviewer, and welcome to Nickvember! Okay, well, I know I did Ruby this month, but that was planned for a while, and it just turned out late, so that doesn't count. So, this is going to be my first time attempting a theme month, and it's going to be a little different, as in, I'm doing clipless reviews because Viacom is extremely stingy. And with my near-strike encounter with the Rooster Teeth, I don't want to step on anyone on their legs too much today. So, no clips, and for now, no reenactments, because Viacom hasn't done anything to me specifically to really warrant me mocking them with such reenactments. They've taken one of my videos down for copyright, but they put it back up immediately, which is not something most channels can say, so I'll respect them, honestly, on that. I know they can be really bad about copyright. But today, we are talking about a show I absolutely love. The Loud House. And I will be talking about this again in Nickvember positively. Don't worry. But right now, we're going to focus on a little bit of the negative aspect. Brawl in the family specifically. Now, this episode has several flaws. And just because this is a clipless review, it's probably going to come up as a bit rantish. Especially since I don't have any source of music yet, since I don't really have a computer. I'm saving up for one, and I will get one eventually. So once that gets squared away, my reviews will come instantly a lot better. And I feel like I'm getting a lot better at these anyway. Well, okay. Well, so I don't start ranting on that, because I'll try to make another video about that later, about why my videos are so low quality. But where was I? Yes, the Loud House Brawl in the family. Have you ever seen that episode of the show? The show itself was really great, but then you find the episode that, I like you because you don't usually do this kind of thing. And I know that's almost directly line from Mr. Inter's animated atrocity of the show. If you haven't seen him, go check him out. He's much better than I am at this stuff. As for this episode in particular, though, Brawl in the Family is them attempting a sibling quarrel episode where the family starts fighting. And for what it's worth, it starts out decent. It's got a good setup in establishing what's going on. By saying that Lincoln can't go to these several rooms because someone's cooling off. The problem is the sister fight protocol. This is something that the sisters made if one of them is to ever get in a fight, and it is absolute crap. Essentially, the sister fight protocol is something goes wrong, family member in a fight, blame Lincoln, and punish Lincoln as much as possible. And now, if you haven't seen the episode, you should probably watch it, especially since this is a clipless review, so I have to kind of explain some more things instead of where I normally show a clip. But the Loud House, normally, Lincoln is on fair ground with everybody else. And that I like that. It makes everything seem more fair, and it makes the sisters ultimately more likable. And this episode doesn't do that. Lincoln seems to be the only one to put the blame. In fact, they directly say that he was the cause of the arguing at the end of the episode. Yes, there are a couple moments where he escalates it. That is true. But there's a moment where Lincoln gets blamed just because he was walking by. Now, first let me explain their sister fight protocol. They have several levels of danger. From from Field Daisy to Thundering Storm or something. I don't even know. It was so convoluted I don't even remember at this point. That the way it basically goes is you let them cool off. Now, first of all, this is a very important part because that's actually correct. At least as far as I'm knowledge. I'm no child psychologist, so don't necessarily take my advice on this. But I do think that taking time to cool off is definitely necessary in any argument. However, they go to the extreme in putting this. Because Lenny and Lori, the two who are arguing, share rooms. Right? You get what I'm saying? You see that this might be a problem. You see, this might be a problem in the family. We need the sister fight protocol. Because otherwise everyone will die. There's going to be chaos. And probably the whole world will fall apart. Anarchy. No. Honestly, the issue really comes from the fact that whenever a sister is getting close to the one who she's fighting with, send him to Lincoln's room and kick Lincoln out. How does that help? All that does is get a chance of Lincoln getting in the argument. And granted, Lincoln is not shown as very physically strong in the series, so it's not going to be a big threat. It just escalates it more than it has to. And it's in the long run, these would not be make it the worst episode of the show. I mean, there's a couple ones that I can't tell you a little more, like any episode almost with Lisa, because it's probably a personal thing, just me, but I hate Lisa. The way she's so pretentious about her intelligence just annoys me. But what really pushes this episode is Lincoln is extremely out of character. He escalates the fight a little more than reasonable. And the reason I'm saying this is, they act as though he's never been in the family before. And though he's never encountered the sister fight protocol. Which would make us assume Lincoln would have never had heard their fights. But he's lived here for 11 years. How would I fix this issue, you might ask? Simple. Put Clyde in there. You have a character specifically made to be like the audience, to be relatable, to help them get into this family of 11 people. You could have used Clyde for this, because he would not know about the Sister Fight Protocol, theoretically. It's possible he doesn't know that. As far as we know, every time he goes over, they all act to their best. But, aside from that, this episode, its biggest flaw is people being out of character. Like, Lenny is a little bit aggressive, a little bit ruder in this episode. Like, not necessarily rude, but like, she just like fights in not exactly the way I think she'd fight. If you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Lenny was the right choice for the argument. If you don't know, Lenny's personality in this show is having a heart of gold, but being rather really intellectually flawed. She's kind of stupid. However, she is the nicest person in this show. And it just seems a lot of character to me for having her, like, fighting, like, yelling and getting really up close and personal with Lori. I feel like anybody else would have been a better choice. Maybe they'd have to change what they're arguing about, but I don't know. And I mean, people can seem out of character when they're fighting too, so it's a minor flaw, and it's something that only really I see. But it's still good. The show is still good, not the episode. The episode is awful. I mean, this isn't even like the case with here. Oh, so I've been drawing up a couple of the my reviews, like for purposes of putting them in the background, but I haven't moved them yet. Well, you remember this little guy? If you don't know or couldn't see because my video quality is crap, that's Lobster Claws, and that is the review that I regret doing the most, because it wasn't that bad. It really was not. And I kind of went a little bit more aggressive to it than I intended to be. This is not one of those cases where it's just an episode of a good show that's just kind of bad, or the kind of loose moral. This goes a little beyond, because this is an episode that's bad because it does what the show normally doesn't. And it makes simple mistakes that could have been avoided. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about it. It's a bad episode of a good show. And that's to be expected. Every show that runs for a while will get a bad one. And it's good that it got knocked down early. But, let me just say about... No, Nick... I said it again! It's Nickvember. It's no Clipvember and Nickvember. It's both of those. It will be going a bit into December, most likely, this year at least, because I started it so late, not just because I had some other things to get through. I had to deal with the copyright crap on Ruby, and I might make a video about that later, but I had to deal with them. They emailed me and tell me, oh, take down your appeal and we'll put it back up, and we'll just take the monetization. I'm like, and I'm just like, fine, do what you want. It's not making any money anyway. It doesn't have over 10,000 views or whatever it is now YouTube requires. But in terms of Nickvember, I'm probably going to be extending it a little bit into December. And remember, I got one little debate in my head of if I want to end it with a review of the Nick sitcoms I've been planning, like of all the Nick sitcoms, or if I want to end it with a kind of like review where I look into the question of, is Nick ever going to truly be back to what they once were? Or if they will just, or if they're just going to stay above what they were for a while, or if they're really still crap, it's just that they haven't hit it lucky with a couple of good shows and a couple good episodes of SpongeBob. And, I mean, my SpongeBob review will probably be either SquidBob Tentacle Pants, like I've been planning, or is SpongeBob good again? Both of which are currently in processing of thinking. I've been watching that episode, and I've been looking at the show as a whole. So we'll be seeing things. As for a little bit of forethought, as for December, I'm probably going to do maybe a Disney December review because I just love Nostalgia Critic, and so I just kind of like want to do something like to honor him or something, like by participating in his Disney December. Or I'll be just reviewing some Christmas special show. And my favorite show, Star Wars Force Evil, is releasing a Christmas special, so I might have to look into that. But we'll see when we get there. As for this review, that's all I've got to say. And I will see you next time when we look either into SpongeBob or once again into the Loud House. And after that, possibly dipping back into the first ever show that I reviewed, Henry Danger. I am the Basement Reviewer, and I will see you in the next review. As for now, have an excellent day.